Welcome to the Work, Wealth, and Travel podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, and this podcast is your guide to start creating a lifestyle by design. From entrepreneurship, money and finance, tax optimization and residencies, and everything in between, this show highlights the nuances of a true global citizen lifestyle. Let's dive in. Edward Sturm, welcome to the podcast again for the second time. So I'm so excited to dive in today. We're going to chat about where you were, where you are today. Your social media has totally blown up in the last, I don't know, I'd say year. You'll probably have a better time frame of that, but we're going to dive into all things social media, content creation, maybe some SEO, and then of course travel and how you balance that with your entrepreneurial lifestyle and all of the content that you create all of the time. I know you're very open and free to chat about wherever the wind goes. So let's start with a year ago. So that was mid 2023 was the last time that we spoke. Tell me a little bit about where you were, if you remember where you were then and how that has changed till now.
Mid 2023, I was back home in Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn originally. And I've been traveling very consistently for the last 5 years. I started traveling in April, I think in April 2019. And I've lived all over the place. I spent 2 years living in Ukraine. I've lived in Belarus. I've lived in the Baltic countries, in the Balkans, and in Italy, in Spain, so many places. I've been so in a lot of places in Western Europe, all over the United States. And a year ago, July 2023, I was back home in New York City. And actually, not a lot of people know this, and I only shared this recently on my own podcast. But like really, I haven't told many people about this. I was thinking about quitting social media. I hadn't really figured things out yet. I would have on and off successes. Occasionally I would go viral. I wasn't growing that fast. But I just wasn't getting that many views, and my Instagram was dead. But I just had the belief, I always have this belief, which is that nobody is so stupid that if they don't keep at something and do it like every day for years, they won't figure it out. My belief is that no one is so dumb that if they don't go at something every day for years, they won't figure it out. And so what happened was a year ago, I was plateauing on TikTok. I hadn't yet figured out Instagram. I barely had any views on YouTube. I don't even have that many followers, that many subscribers on YouTube. But now my videos are getting like 10x the views that they were getting 2 months ago, which is crazy. Maybe more than 10x. I made one of the most viewed videos on the Google algorithm leak, the Google attribute leak, the ranking attributes for Google that leaked. It was like the biggest leak of all time for Google. And I had one of the most viewed videos on that on YouTube. But a year ago, I hadn't figured out how to have a consistent YouTube channel. I had one-off hits on YouTube a decade ago, and I hadn't figured out Instagram. And TikTok, I had some successes here and there. Like a few months before July 2023, I made the most viewed video in the world on the Silicon Valley bank collapse. That was cool, but still it was like inconsistent and my followers weren't growing. And I was thinking about giving up, but I just said, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this every day. And then I started figuring things out and things changed a lot. So now I'm growing real fast on Instagram. I'm at 72 or 74,000 followers on Instagram, 94,000 on TikTok. YouTube is still low. It's almost at 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. But that's still crazy for me because I couldn't break 1,000 for the longest time. And I'm also like, the coolest thing is I have fun doing this every day. Like I wake up in the mornings excited to make videos that are going to be seen by tens of thousands of people, which is crazy to me. I started doing this November 1st, 2022. I was living in Barcelona. I have like lots of tech companies, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to just make videos showing what I'm doing for one of my tech companies. And I'm going to make these videos on TikTok. I'm going to make them every day. And when I started doing this, I'm like, okay, well, I'm making these videos, they're coming out on TikTok, but I don't want to leave views on the table. So how can I make these videos come out everywhere? So I started using a tool called reusevideo.com. That's my affiliate link for this tool. I'm their biggest affiliate and one of their biggest power users. I love this tool. It makes it so whenever I release a video on TikTok, it simultaneously comes out everywhere else. My followers are growing on Snapchat, of all places, because all of my TikToks automatically come out to Snapchat. I don't touch Snapchat. I don't lift a finger on Snapchat. I set up my profile, which I had since like 2012 when I joined Snapchat or something, but I had stopped using. And I just like updated my profile, connected it to reusevideo.com, which was connected to TikTok. And all my videos come out without the TikTok watermark onto Snapchat. And I'm growing on Snapchat. And so I've kind of started figuring things out. And yeah, I like make videos that every day are seen by either tens of thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people. Man, let me tell you what happened. I I'm just enjoying this rant that I'm going on. I got off a red eye flight a couple of days ago. I had, oh my god, I don't know why I did this, but I took a 5:30 p.m. flight from JFK, New York, to Poland. Poland is 6 hours ahead of New York. So I got into Poland, I think around 10 a.m., 10 in the morning, and I didn't really sleep on the flight. I got a lot of work done though, which was great. And then I'm like, okay, I know that if I sleep in the afternoon, I'm going to totally mess up my Europe's sleep schedule. So I got to stay up until the evening. And I made my TikTok maybe around 5 p.m. I make a video every day, even if I'm sick. Like I have not missed a day in like 630 days since I started. Even when I was visiting my ex-girlfriend in Barcelona and I had the neurovirus and I was throwing up, I was so sick, I still made a daily video. And I get in off this red eye flight. It's like 5 p.m. now. So I guess 24 hours after I left, I haven't slept. I'm exhausted. I'm delirious. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to make a TikTok. What am I going to make it on? SEO. I'm like one of the best SEOs in the world. And I love SEOs. I'm going to make a video on SEO. So I shoot this video on SEO. I make it in 15 minutes. I put it up. And now that was like 3 days ago. And the video's up to 1 million views. I made it in my echoey office because I don't have any like sound equipment and I don't have any what is it, acoustics, like proper acoustic in the office. I got all of these, I'm trying to think of the word, all of these pads to put all over the walls to absorb the echo, the reverb in the office. And then they kept falling off the walls, so I just said, all right, I'm going to just let the office be all echoey. And actually, I think that makes for more authentic content and people like that more, which is kind of crazy. I'm like, yeah, I don't want people to hear the reverb in my office. It's going to make the videos worse, but it just makes it seem more authentic and people like that. So I shoot this video in my echoey office just on my phone with the front facing camera. I always shoot on the front facing camera. I throw it into Descript, which we've talked about. Descript edits it for me, and then it gets like 1 million views, and it's gonna get more. It'll probably get up to like 2 million. And that's my life. That's my life, Nicole. There's my
That's so
introductory
cool.
rant.
I love it. Thank you for sharing all of that. So I remember when we spoke a year ago, you had 2,000 something followers on Instagram, and now you're at what, almost 80K or 80K or something like that. So that's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah.
Share with us some of your biggest tips. I mean, I know social media is always changing, but some of your biggest tips. And then within that, and I think this will probably be one of them, the consistency and how you have managed that. Because I think, we all live busy lives. And I think that's one of the biggest struggles. So, I mean, talking about myself, just to give you some background, like consistency and then always having a new idea, which for me kind of goes hand in hand with consistency, is tricky because I'm running a business. I'm in a million emails all day. I'm in a bunch of calls and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, how do you have the time? And I know you're doing the same thing. So share with us some tips, tricks, consistency, all of the things.
Well, first of all, I say no to most calls. I actually say no to most podcasts too. I'm like, oh, Nicole's a friend. We talked a year ago before I was like hot shit, and I'm like, cool. I'll get on. And like I see you're hustling too, and I love it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll get on Nicole's podcast. But no, I say like I'm like very ruthless saying no to people. I protect my time is so you know what my time is? My time is literally views. Like in the time that I spend talking to somebody for an hour, I can make one or two videos that end up getting millions of views, or at the very least, on the low end, tens of thousands of views. On the low end, it'll be tens of thousands of views because, like, over time, now each video that I put out will get like minimum 10,000 views. Maybe it won't get it in the first week on the low end, but then it'll get it in like the coming month. So, like, literally an hour of my time is is like I could make two videos in that time, and that's like 20,000 views. And so that's like how I look at time now. So I'm very protective of my time. But so your question was your question was what changed on Instagram a year ago or
Yeah, I mean, I know the social media platforms are always changing, but what are some of the things that you have done that you've really seen success to the level that you had success? Like, what are some of the
I can
tools?
tell you I can tell you exactly what I do on Instagram. I have figured out Instagram. My like I sh- First of all, like I was doing it all wrong a year ago. If I knew what I know now, which are like basic things, if I know what I knew now, like I would be up to like several 100,000 followers on Instagram. I just didn't know. And when I'm working on a product, it's an SEO program. It's like how to do my style of SEO. When that comes out, and it's just like I have so little time because I also, in addition to making my daily podcast, doing my daily videos, a weekly newsletter, I'm also building this product. But when that product comes out, I'm going to be going super hard on short form mobile videos, which are coming out on Instagram too. And I think I'll grow really fast on Instagram when I have more time to put into that. But here's what changed. So a year ago, when we talked, I had my automation through reusevideo.com going out onto Instagram with the wrong setting. And I haven't completely confirmed this. So I'll share first of all the confirmed way to grow on Instagram, and then a way that I think it can be automated. The number one thing is Reels. Reels get tons of views, tons of engagement. I'm sure you've seen it yourself. Like when you post just a picture, it'll get a fraction of the engagement that a Reel gets. So the number one thing is Reels. But I knew that a year ago. I was posting videos on TikTok and they were coming out on Instagram. What I was doing wrong is on reusevideo.com, I had just an option, which is don't share these videos to your existing followers. And when you have I don't know exactly why this is, but like when you have that option ticked off on any third party tool that reshares video to Instagram, and the option is don't share this video to your existing followers. And by the way, interrupt me if you have any questions. But when you have this ticked off from a third party tool, then the views will be like completely suppressed. The views will be so suppressed, you really won't get a lot of views. And all of my videos that were coming out onto Instagram had this ticked off. I had ticked that off because I just wanted to be shown to new people. And I think it was because like I had all these ex-girlfriends following me and I had like friends following me, and I didn't want them seeing my videos when I was working on my stuff because I was embarrassed by it, and like which was dumb. But so I had that ticked off. Don't show these videos to my existing feed. And with the third party tool, my views were suppressed. And so my content improved for sure. But what happened was I tried I tried reposting a video that I had made from February 2023 that had gone viral. And I reposted that manually onto Instagram with this setting that Instagram no longer has. And that setting was also the same. Don't show it to your existing followers. And Instagram used to let you like manually post a reel and don't show it to existing followers. That video got, I think, like 4 million views on Instagram. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like maybe if I like check this off again, then like the same thing will happen, and upload manually, the same thing will happen. So I took another video that had only gotten like 50,000 or 40,000 views on TikTok. I took that because all my videos come out with reusvideo.com. They are also uploaded to Google Drive. So I have a backup of all of my short form mobile content without the TikTok watermark. TikTok is great because I can make a video on Descript. I can edit a video in whatever editor that I want to use, upload it to TikTok, and then TikTok will use its AI to recommend music that goes with the rhythm of the video, with the cuts, with the subject matter, with the lighting. It literally recommends music that fits the video. So I like to put my videos into TikTok, have it recommend music, have that video get exported to Google Drive, download that video from Google Drive. And so I download this video from Google Drive, and I'm like, I wonder if this will happen again. I wonder if I do the same things, will I go viral again? And sure enough, I go freaking viral again. And I get like, I think it was like 20 times the views that I got on TikTok. And I get that on Instagram. And I try it again. And my friends try it. And we're all getting views. And we're all blowing up. And I think this worked so well that I got to 25,000 followers on Instagram. 25,000 followers on Instagram by January. And in January, Instagram removed this option, which is have your videos show to new people only, not to your feed. And I actually, all of my friends, we all think the same thing, which is that Instagram weighted their algorithm incorrectly. They placed so much weight on videos that were pushed out to like new people because we just were getting so many views on our videos. It was like a cheat code. It was like a hack. It was crazy. But very quickly after we discovered this, maybe it was because I made so many videos about it and so many podcasts about it. I don't know. But very quickly after I discovered this, they removed it. Instagram removed this feature. So then it's January this year, and I'm at 25,000 followers. And I actually stayed at 25,000 followers for a bit. I had known at this point, I had confirmed that like I should be posting through the Instagram mobile app instead of using a third-party tool with which reshares my content. So my workflow is I shoot the video either on my laptop with my laptop camera or with just the front-facing camera on my phone. I shoot it. I put it into Descript. Descript basically edits it for me because it removes the gaps between words. It removes the retakes. I put in any relevant images. I edit with the transcript. Then I put in the caption with Descript. And then I export from Descript. I take that video. I put it onto the TikTok app. The TikTok app recommends music. I post the video. The video comes out onto Google Drive and all these other places, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube Shorts, all these other places. But I take the video from Google Drive and I manually upload it to Instagram. By the way, Instagram is like one of my favorite marketing channels. I'm sure you see it yourself. You have a lot of people DMing you on Instagram. You probably get a lot of business on Instagram. Instagram is great. And so I download it from Google Drive. I upload it to Instagram. I had confirmed that that's how I should be doing it. That's my workflow. I confirmed that. But let me tell you, I wasn't growing because Instagram removed the ability to share your videos to only new people, which meant that if I wanted to take my TikToks and put them on its Instagram, my existing community was going to see. All of my friends, my existing social circle from New York, from my childhood, from my adulthood, my college friends, my ex-girlfriends, my friends around the world, like all these people that I know, they were going to see these videos that I were making. And for months, I was uncomfortable with that. I could no longer share to new people only. So my existing followers were going to see. And so I didn't grow on Instagram because I wasn't going to put my videos onto Instagram. And then a close friend of mine who was my neighbor in Kiev, he's from London. Oh man, he's huge. He's from London. He's from a combination of London and China. His name is Wan Yan. Lots of people have seen him now. He's up to like 450,000 followers on Instagram and 250,000 on TikTok. When I met him, he wasn't doing anything really on social media. He just had like a personal Instagram. He started after me, but he goes hard. He's posting, I think, like 6 videos a day now on Instagram and TikTok. And he gets stopped in the streets in Stockholm where he lives. Or if he goes to Miami, he was just in Miami, he was getting stopped in the streets in Miami. Anywhere he goes, he's getting recognized and stopped in the streets. And he started on social media a few months after me, but we learned together. I actually shared reusevideo.com with him, and he uses it, and it's working for him to grow on Instagram. In the last month, he grew by 100,000 followers on Instagram using reusevideo.com, because now I think I personally have almost confirmed this, but not quite. But I'll get to that in a second. I'm going deep on Instagram because it's a great channel. And like, if you are listening to this and you want to grow on Instagram, like, this is literally all you have to do. I'm going to share what you have to do. Or Nicole, if you want to grow on Instagram, I'm going to share what you have to do, because I'm growing on Instagram. It's amazing. So, all right. So okay. January, they removed the feature. Everyone's going to see if I post reels. Reels are the ways to get like real impressions, to grow, to have people notice you, to get top of mind awareness in your niche. Reels are the way to do it. And I know that if I'm posting reels, my existing followers are going to see. I'm uncomfortable with that. And this friend of mine from Kiev, who's now at 450,000 followers, he says, dude, who cares? He tells me, like, who cares? They'll see it. And like, yeah, maybe a few of them will unfollow you because they find your content annoying, or because they find your posting frequency annoying, or like whatever it is. But who fucking cares? Like he just talked to me like really harsh. He's like, don't be a bitch. Like, that was it. And I'm like, oh yeah, don't be a bitch. All right. And then I'm like, yeah, and I think he's right. Like, once I start growing, like, they will probably reach back out to me. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to bite the bullet, risk burning my social circle, and have all of my videos come out to Instagram. And everyone who I know, they're going to see my videos. And so I start posting my videos from TikTok in the same way that I described to Instagram, except without the option to have only new people see. And I start doing that. And then I start growing. And then I start growing faster and faster and faster. And then I actually learn, and I tested this. So I learned this when I was at like 50,000 followers, which is like, basically there's this high frequency posting strategy. And lots of people have confirmed this. And even Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, has talked about this. But the more you post reels, or images too, but like the more that you post, the more you're rewarded for it. At minimum, like, you should be posting a video a day on Instagram. And so this was actually a few weeks ago. I think this was maybe like 4 weeks ago. And I posted, in 2 days, I posted 12 videos. So I did what my friend does every day, and I made like 6 videos a day. I was just feeling like super manic. And I was also having fun. Like, I was just inspired by all these different videos that I wanted to make. And like I said, I make them really easily. I shoot them usually just on my front facing camera, put them in Descript. Like, you know how easy it is to edit in Descript. And so I was just making these videos. I put out, like, I think it was 6 on day one, and then 5 or 6 on the next day. And I was growing by over 1,000 followers a day. Let me tell you the crazy part. I found that it compounds over time. The more you do, the longer you do higher frequency posting for, the faster you grow over time. It compounds. But I couldn't keep up that pace, because I also have to build this product. I also have to make this product, and I have to do my daily podcast. So it's so much, I couldn't keep up the pace. But when the product comes out, I'm going to do high frequency posting again. And I'm going to grow super fast and get more top of mind awareness for SEO. The other reason that I learned about high frequency posting, I noticed that this account, like, lots of big accounts follow me, but there was this, like, this is nothing out of the ordinary. But when I see an account with a blue check mark follow me, I would say, like, some of the time that I look at it, I get like so many, but just occasionally you look when you get new followers. Sometimes you want to see who these people are. So I looked at this one account that followed me, and I saw that they were only following like 7 people. I was one of the 7 people, but they had like 600,000 followers. And the most remarkable thing wasn't that this big account was only following 7 people, all of whom were like huge tech CEOs, and then they were following me. That wasn't the biggest thing. The biggest thing was that the account was started 2 months ago. It was opened and started 2 months ago, and in 2 months it had grown to 600,000 followers, brand new account. And so I DM'd the account. First of all, I would like looked at it and I'm like, okay, they must have been posting like several times a day. And right before that, I had heard this guy. He's like, he said the fastest I ever grew was when I was posting 4 times every single day for a month. And in that month, I grew 130,000 followers, posting 4 times a day, every day for a month. In that month, I grew by 130,000 followers on Instagram. And then when I stopped doing that and I was only posting like 4 times a week, I grew by like 80,000 followers in a month. But the 80,000 was still residual from when he was posting 4 times a day the month before. And so, yeah, like he said that. And then I found this new account and I looked at this new account, grew 600,000 followers in 2 months. That's absurd. And I DM'd the account and the account actually told me, like, I said, did you just grow this fast because you were posting 6 times a day? I saw the person was putting up images and videos, but mostly videos. And the person's like, yeah, that's what I did. I just posted like 6 times a day, every single day for 2 months. Grew to 600,000 followers, stuck to a niche. The niche is entrepreneurship. Was just posting quotes from famous founders or videos from famous founders, Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, or huge marketers, Neil Patel, quotes from David Ogilvy, all this stuff, 6 times a day, every day for 2 months, 600,000 followers on Instagram. And the followers are legit people. They're like, I'm looking at the followers and they're people that I follow. They're like huge people in entrepreneurship who just likes this person's content. And then after that, like a month or two after that, I try high frequency posting myself and then I'm growing really fast. And so here's the last part of this. The last part of this is that's like all you need to know is like post as much as you can on Instagram. Reels work really well. Like Instagram is super generous for attention with posting reels. Aim for like once a day. You can literally spend 5 minutes on a video and it can go viral. I think the one that I made when I got off the red eye flight and I was jet lagged and tired, like I made that in like 15 minutes. Really, just like off the cuff, and you can see it's from a few days ago. It's up to probably 1.1 million views now. And post once a day, post manually through the Instagram app. But the part that I am finding now is you actually might not need to post manually through the Instagram app, because my friend, his name is, I don't know if I mentioned his name is Wanyan, Junyuan on Instagram with 450,000 followers, same thing on TikTok. And he's just, all he does is post videos of people recognizing him in the streets. It's amazing. And that's literally all he posts. He dresses in like amazing suits, walks around the streets of Stockholm. People stop him for pictures. Like that's all he posts. And so he actually, he like wanted to automate where he was showing up because it's so much work uploading everywhere. And so he asked me for advice and I'm like, yeah, use reusevideo.com. He starts using that. And he doesn't check off the option because actually reusevideo.com still I'm going to talk to the CEO. I'm like friends with the management of the company now. And they still have the option to show to only new people on Instagram. And they should remove that. First of all, that option makes it so views are suppressed. Second of all, it doesn't even work anymore since Instagram removed that ability. And so what I tried is I took like an old video of mine, I reposted it on to Instagram using, not with this feature checked off, but using reusevideo.com. And the video is up to like 50 or 60,000 views. And so I'm going to test this again with a few more pieces of content. And if they perform like my other pieces of content, that's amazing, because that means I can automate Instagram posting. And then like I'm almost fully automated. Whereas like all I do is post my video on TikTok and it comes out everywhere. I'm still manually posting to YouTube because the thing about the only problem, actually there is a problem. The only problem with reusevideo.com is if you upload through TikTok like I do, the TikTok API doesn't have the line breaks, and I write really long descriptions for SEO. So I discovered this crazy hack. This is like one of the craziest things in SEO that I discovered, which is like if you have a keyword that you want to rank for and you put that keyword at the beginning of your description and then you write a long description and then you make a video that gets comments are really important. Google will rank that video really fast. And so I did this and I ranked number 1 on Google in a week, twice in a week. Number 1 on Google twice in a week for videos created 12 hours before. I made a video, I posted the video, it got a decent amount of comments. 12 hours later, it ranked number 1 for the keyword that it was at the keyword at the beginning of the description. And I wrote these like long descriptions using line breaks. And the thing is, with TikTok coming out to other places, the API doesn't pass on the line breaks. So I have to manually update the line breaks. And so like it's still really easy. You know, on the reusevideo.com interface, I just like click like post, and then I just paste the description in with the line breaks. And that way, like all these videos can also show up on Google, which is fucking crazy that like I have like such crazy penetration on Google with my video. So I'm growing a brand on social media while doing like real SEO ranking for things. Like it's absurd. And but it's all of it's pretty automated. Honestly, it's amazing. And there you go. That's the secret. I like ask me any questions. I like Nicole. I want to see you crush it. I want to see you do this and crush it. I see you. I see you out there putting out content. I see you working on your hooks. I see you working on your engagement. Like, and that stuff is all important. But like, yeah, video a day, manually uploaded. Try manually upload it first. And yeah, like the more you post, the better you'll do.
Yeah, I think consistency is such a big thing, and I find it really interesting, and I appreciate you sharing that you just don't take very many meetings. I love that. So, we are
But
building out the
I will
team.
say even if you do take meetings, I know that you can spend 5 minutes making a video.
Yeah, totally. For me, it's more so, I think a lot of content creators probably get this as well, where you get so in your head with what the content you're going to post is. And I think from you, and I've been watching your YouTube videos and whatnot, it's really inspiring to see how often you post because you don't overthink it. And so I'm curious, what does your workflow look like? Are you reading articles? Are you seeing what other people are doing? And then you're just thinking, hey, this is a good idea. Like, well, let's roll with that. And then you make it in the moment.
I have I use the Microsoft to-do list app. The only reason I use that is because I think I was using a different to-do list app. I don't even remember the name, but Microsoft acquired it and then like merged it with their existing to-do list app. They just wanted the users, and all of my lists got put into Microsoft To Do, so I just stuck with Microsoft To Do. But I literally have like checklists for videos to make, for podcasts to make, for newsletters to make. I think of ideas. Like the more you post, the more you think of ideas, the easier it is to think of ideas. And so like I'll come up with ideas in the shower, I'll come up with ideas going for a walk. And whereas most people probably just ignore those, I like, or I come up with a great hook and then I write all of these things down in the checklist. And then I make the video and I check it off. And sometimes I'm like feeling really inspired and I'll write the script in like 5 minutes. Half of the time I use scripts, the other half I don't. The video that I made today, which is going to come out, I'm going to edit it after this. It'll be really easy to edit. It's going to take me like 10 minutes to edit. That video I recorded in 5 minutes without a script, because what happened was I recorded my daily podcast. I went to like, I love recording podcasts from podcasts. I'll tell you another hack that I discovered when I, when I record videos in like luxury hotel lobby bars and I don't put in music and I just use the ambient sound and I record like in these like nice places, the videos tend to do like really well. And so I went to this, and it's also just comfortable. So I love going to these like luxury hotel lobby bars, like wherever I am, and just like working from them. And so I brought my laptop. I recorded a podcast from this like luxury hotel. This one wasn't the bar. It was like the lobby, which has like this big co-working table in it. And so I'm recording the podcast from this table in the lobby using this thing. People are looking at me. I'm just like stopped caring because I do this so often. At the beginning, I cared a lot. I cared a lot at the beginning, but now like I do it so often that I don't. And I record that podcast for like 37 minutes. And by the end of the podcast, I'm so familiar with the subject matter that I'm able to record a video on what I just said in 5 minutes. So I just like crank out a few lines as I'm recording with this thing with the three cameras as like I'm shooting like this, but it's coming from here, and I shoot for like 5 minutes off the top of my head. And then after this podcast, after you and I are done, I'm going to put that into Descript. It's going to take 10 minutes to edit, and I'm going to put it out. And that when I was just like in the flow state, I just talked about this, so it was top of mind. But like something that, okay, so here's some things that I do. What if I'm like really dry and I have like crazy writer's block? So here's some things that because that happens to me all the time. So here's some things that I do. I like I have some people that I follow on X who talk about my stuff, or on Instagram who talk about my stuff, or some websites that I go to that talk about my niche. I'll like go check out what these people are saying. That's like one option. Another option, which a lot of people don't do, they don't know how to do this. Like I said, the more you make content, the easier it becomes to make more content. I will just sit and just start writing different ideas. And actually, within like 5 minutes, I'm usually able to think of something that I want to talk about. Like that's all it takes. If you just like open an empty text edit document on your laptop and just start writing, and it literally like free forms, like don't censor yourself, just start going blah 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 blah. Within like 5 minutes, you'll think of something that you want to talk about. And like that's really off of that, I'm usually able to just like write the script right there. Other times I'll find like I made this video, it got I think like 10 million views or something. It's about the how the famous Microsoft XP wallpaper came to be. That like famous green grass and blue sky wallpaper that's been on like over 1 billion computers. It was used in the White House Situation Room. Like, is it like it's the most famous wallpaper of all time? It was sold for, it was the second highest price photograph ever sold. Like it was the second most expensive photograph ever sold. And I like made this video about how that came to be. It's a crazy story. And so I made that video, and that one was actually a hard one because there were so many different elements to that story. But when I heard the story originally, I knew it was one that I wanted to tell. And so I actually like took 2 hours to turn, it was an article that I read, and I took 2 hours to turn this article into, I think, a 90-second script. And I like 90 seconds, or maybe it was like a minute and 45 seconds. And that one, I literally wrote the script for 2 hours. And then I write the script for 2 hours. I record one take, which is exhausting because it's a long script. It's not good enough. Actually, I record the one take, I put it in Descript, I see how it flows, and I'm like, this isn't good enough. I can do better. I record it again, and then I go to a cafe, and I sit in this cafe with my friend, and I spend, I think, 90 more minutes putting images into it because I'm green screened out in this video. And so I write the script in 2 hours. I record two takes in an hour. I go to a cafe, and then I edit the thing for like an hour and a half, and then I upload it. And that video goes super viral. Microsoft even commented on the video. And that was like, but normally I'm not like spending that much work. It was just like, I'm like, this is a story that is really cool, that is kind of related to my niche, that I got to tell this story. But oftentimes I just like pick up my phone and shoot something. And I've gotten good at doing that because I've been making videos every freaking day for a year and a half, since November 1st, 2022. I'll tell you this, I didn't have my first viral video until I think January 5th is when I had my first. It was like January 5th or January 11th or something. But I started making, okay, so I started making videos November 1, 2022. And then early January is when I had my first viral video. That video it's gotten probably an aggregate now of like 5 million views at the time. I think it got like 1.5 million views or something, or maybe 2 million views. And the way that I made that is I just like really stopped giving an F. And I made, I think, 9 videos that day. I was cranking out videos so fast, and I was doing it because I was trying to tell a friend, like, hey, look, start on TikTok. It's really easy. Look how long it takes me to make a video. He was like trying to figure out what to say. And in the time it took him to make one video, I made like 3 videos. And I just wanted to show him like, dude, who cares? It's really easy. Who cares? It's really easy. And one of those videos ended up going like pretty viral. But it took me 2 months to get there, November and all of December. And I think it was mid-January. So it was like 2.5 months to get there. Not January 5th. I think it was mid-January. And I still didn't understand hooks at that point. Then like a month later, or maybe like 2 weeks later, I had a video that did like not as well as the first one, but pretty well. And I sent it to a friend, and my friend was like, that's a great hook. So this is like 3 months after that I have this like second video that does okay. I send it to a friend. My friend goes, that's a great hook. And 3 months after I start, I have the thought, oh, hooks. Maybe I should think about hooks more. Wow, I didn't even stop to consider hooks. So I start thinking about hooks, and then my videos improve. And then like I'm making videos for many more months. I think, I discover covering trending topics. If there's a topic in your niche that is trending and you talk about it, super easy to get views, super easy to get top of mind awareness. I especially discovered that on YouTube. My subscribers went up a lot on YouTube just because I was one of the first people to cover this Google leak, which I talked about before. I was just one of the first people to cover that. So my subscribers on YouTube went up like a ton because of that. And so I figured out, okay, cover trending topics. I'll tell you this, my views on TikTok really started to go up rapidly, and my followers started to go up rapidly when I started using Descript, because I was limited. Like, the TikTok app is great. It's really like, I tell anyone, if you want to start, just shoot and edit everything in the TikTok app. Use a front facing camera so it'll look crispy. Shoot and edit in the TikTok app. Some of your videos will do okay. It's like really easy. But the thing that I like about Descript is it makes it on the TikTok app. You say a line, then you have to stop, and then you have to start recording to say the next line. And then you have to stop, and then you have to start recording to say the next line. With Descript, I click record, I have it face me, I click like this button, I usually like click on myself to focus on myself. But I just leave it recording as I talk. So I'm recording, and like I will record like a 5-minute video of me trying to say like what I think will be an appealing video for TikTok and Instagram. And then I'll put that video into Descript. All the gaps between words are removed. So there's literally 0 gaps between like lines. One line, then the next line comes 0 seconds later, not like half a second, not a quarter of a second, 0 seconds. And now Descript has this new feature called remove retakes. Have you used it?
I have, and it was extremely terrible for me.
Oh, it's great for me.
Hmm.
It's usually very good for me. But that's because like I'll say one line, and then I'll be like, I could do this better. And then I'll say it again. I'm like, I could do this better. And it will just pull the last appearance of that take. And it'll mess things up all the time. So you still got to like listen to it back. I would say, don't use it with a podcast. It doesn't work with a podcast. But for a short form vertical video, a video that's like 30 seconds or a minute, it works really well. So that makes it even easier. And then like I listen to the recording, I correct the script, the transcript, I move things around if I want to move them, and then that's it. Like I export. If I maybe I green screen myself, I throw in some images, and like that's it. So Descript allowed me to make videos like way easier because I could just kind of record free form thoughts. I could like record my video without having to start the video and stop the video and start the video and stop the video. And so I was able to go on walks and record a rant. And I love going on rants, record a rant and like, but you don't have to love being able to, you don't have to love going on rants to have the videos do well, but like, yeah, it's great. So Descript made it really easy. So Descript was next. And then it was, I think, 2 months after Descript that I learned about posting manually onto Instagram and how, like, what I was doing wrong. And then my Instagram started taking off. And yeah. Oh, the other thing that I learned is, this is actually a huge epiphany. I first like kind of, so covering trending topics is great for top of mind awareness. And it's And it can be great for podcasts too, because with podcasts, you have the opportunity to talk about yourself, whereas you can't really do that on short form mobile content. Short form mobile content, you just have to talk about the topic. And if you start talking about yourself too much, people will swipe off. And so like it's great for like top of mind awareness where existing followers will see you again and think of you, but it's not like the best for getting followers. Podcasts, on the other hand, it's great because you cover a topic that people are interested in, so they're going to listen. But because it's long form, you can also talk about yourself and why you're credible and why you're interesting. And then a bunch of people will decide to subscribe to you, listen to your podcast more, subscribe to you on YouTube, like whatever it is. And so podcasts, like trending topics, really great for podcasts. I would say like don't do it all the time, but like occasionally it's really great for podcasts. Whereas it's like it's great for building a podcast audience. Whereas with short form mobile videos, it is just good for getting top of mind awareness, reminding your existing followers that you exist if you haven't had like a viral video in a while, or just being at the forefront of your niche, showing that you know what's going on in your niche. But like something that I learned right after training topics is like focus on posting value. So like post a video and ask yourself like, is this giving value? First of all, like, is this entertaining? But is this giving value to the people who are going to watch this video? And what I found, I'll tell you this crazy thing that I found. So that the video that I talked about with the Microsoft XP wallpaper on TikTok, the video I think has 5.8 million views. And on Instagram, I think it has like 2, 3, 4 million views. I think it's like 2 million views. I think it's 2 million views. And so let's like, I don't remember the numbers exactly, but let's say it's 2 million views. I think the video got me, I'm trying to remember this exactly. All right, so it has 2 million views on Instagram. I posted another video, which isn't like as raw entertaining, but it's a lot more informational and it's still like good enough. And it's about how to price products. And like I give like all these different pricing tricks. I say like I think the one of the big tricks that I said was if you're selling multiple items and the price isn't easily divisible by the number of items that the person is purchasing, they'll be less likely to purchase. So like if you want to sell so like 5 t-shirts sold for $50, people will be more likely to buy 5 t-shirts for $50 than they will be 5 t-shirts for $47 because it's easy. The 50 is easily divisible. And that really only occurs when you're selling multiple products. So I make this video. That video gets like 90,000 views. The video that got 90,000 views that was more helpful got me, I think, like 5 times as many followers as a video with 2 million views that was just raw entertaining. And so like a huge epiphany is like, yeah, focus on giving content and then like put in the best hooks that you can. Like, of course, like try to make like the most entertaining videos that you can, but like focus on giving value. And yeah, that makes like a huge difference.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's a good point to note. I want to talk about, I mean, you shared so much in there, which I really appreciate. And kind of going off of TikTok, Instagram, social media, I want to talk about the brand that you've built and that you're continuing to build and which platforms you really see as being more cohesive for building a brand, getting opportunities, and then within that, I know you've had a lot of really interesting opportunities since you've started this social media journey, since your following has really grown. And so, what that has looked like, where they found you, and then that, I guess, that kind of goes back to the platforms that are most beneficial.
So I think one of the most valuable channels is really podcasts, just because it's an opportunity to create deep relationships with the people who watch your stuff. you can create deep relationships as well with short form mobile content, but it just takes time. It takes a while to do. Um, I would say my favorite. Okay, you asked me like, what's a great platform for getting started? I would say, is that what you asked me?
For more so from a brand perspective. So if you're having clients or if you're looking for opportunities, I know TikTok you can grow really quickly, but I feel like maybe that's not the best platform to really engage your audience and then grow that brand. So I'm curious what that looks like from your side.
TikTok is great, actually. I so like I'm followed by lots of SEO people because like I talk about all digital marketing and marketing things, but I talk a lot about SEO. Like I come from a history of SEO. I've done it for Nintendo, Microsoft, ADP, Procter and Gamble. Done it for a decade plus. And so I was talking with one of the people who follows me. I don't have an agency. That's not what I'm interested in. I don't want to sell my time. My time is like really valuable. Instead, I want to make products that can scale. Whereas like I can make a product, I can put it out to my audience. It can be purchased in bulk. I can continue doing marketing for that product, and I can set up different funnels for that product. I can set up SEO funnels for that product, email marketing funnels for that product, social media funnels for that product. Like I like selling products. But I was talking with someone who does have an agency on TikTok, and he doesn't even have it. He talks only about SEO. He has like, I have like 94,000 followers on TikTok. I think he has 70,000. He talks only about SEO. And he just crossed six figures with his agency, with just from TikTok. And on Instagram, the reason I even say this, six figures, like whatever, but like on Instagram, he has, I think, like 1,500 followers. He hasn't figured out Instagram yet. But on TikTok, he has like 74,000 followers, and just off of that's been enough for him to grow to six figures for his agency. And so TikTok is good. Instagram, I will say, like, so every day I get, I don't know, I get like 2 to 5 people being like, can I hire you? And I ignore all of them because that's, again, like, I'm not trying to sell my time. I literally ignore all of them. I have a very expensive calendar on my website. I think I'm charging $1,600 for an hour. And then I give like a package where if you buy like 90 minutes, if you pay $2,200, then I'll give you like 90 minutes worth of calls. So one call for an hour, then another call for 30 minutes, and then like unlimited texting. And that's $2,200. So if somebody's super motivated, they can go to my website and they can book that. And lots of people go to my website and they check it out. But so if someone pays that, then like, okay, I'll sell my time for that. But if someone just DMs me and is like, hey, can I hire you? I just ignore it. So I get 2 to 5 offers like that a day. People also message me on my site asking, on LinkedIn asking. And the reason I say that is because like making videos in a niche and doing that every day, if you just want to sell your time, I think is a very easy way to get a lot of business. Especially with Instagram, because the most offers I have noticed come on Instagram. By far, the most offers I've noticed come on Instagram. So, to answer your question, what is the best platform for building like an agency brand? Definitely Instagram. I think definitely Instagram. And fortunately for all of your listeners and for you, if you're doing the agency route, I just went on a like 40-minute rant about how to grow on Instagram. Pick a niche, post as many times a day, post through the mobile app, make the videos with Descript and your phone, post at least once a day, but as many times as you can. That's it. So Instagram is the best for getting top of mind awareness. You want it so when people think of a niche, of your niche, they think of you. You want to make it. That's what top of mind awareness is. When people think of your niche, they think of you. When people think of fast food, they think of McDonald's or they think of Burger King, but they probably think of McDonald's. When people think of soft drinks, they think of Coca-Cola. When people think of podcasts, maybe they think of it used to be only Joe Rogan, and that's why Joe Rogan was able to sell to Spotify for $200 million because he had top of mind awareness with podcasts. When you think of motivational speaker, someday maybe it'll be Edward Sturm, but right now it's Tony Robbins. So like that's top of mind awareness. And you want to establish that. And by posting very often, especially with Instagram, which is so generous, giving attention and visibility to reels, you can get top of mind awareness. So when people think of your niche, they think of you. And when people need help in that niche, who are they going to contact? They're going to contact Nicole. That's what they're going to do. There's my answer.
I love it. I agree. I do think Instagram for certain business types is beneficial. Okay, so my last question.
Wait,
very
how is it
quickly.
for you? How is Instagram for you?
Instagram is good. I find usually it's the DMs that are busier, and it's interesting because
No,
obviously,
that's what I mean. I mean it's the
yeah,
DMs.
yeah,
I get all these offers on the DMs.
yeah, and I
But
find
people see my
people,
content. Shares are the most important ranking factor for
yeah,
IG. And easy way to do it is just kind of disguise like the information that you're saying, even if it's like basic information, as like no one knows this stuff. So I'll actually give you like an example. Sometimes oftentimes I share stuff that nobody knows because I know a lot of stuff that nobody knows and I share it. But sometimes I also share like very basic stuff that's just really helpful. But the hook that I give is like nobody knows it, because the truth is like nobody actually does know this thing because the world is so big. and actually lots of like digital marketers don't know it, but within like the realm of SEO, it's very basic. So the example is, if you have a website, Google has a tool for telling Google that you exist. The tool is called Google Search Console. And so if you have a website, you just have to connect your website to Google Search Console and submit your URL to Google Search Console. If you have like a sitemap, which is a list of pages on your site, also give that to Google within their sitemap section. Very easy. Every single SEO knows about Google Search Console. But funny enough, lots of people with websites don't even know that. Lots of them do, but plenty of them don't. And so I made a video and I said, nobody knows this about Google. If you submit your URL to Google Search Console, that tells Google, hey, I exist. And like I make this video, I made it in like 5 minutes. The hook was, nobody knows this about Google. And even though it's like this really basic piece of advice, because it really is basic, that video has gotten like 3 or 4 million views. And so many people have stolen my hooks. It's like really hilarious when I see it. And I'm very public about saying the hooks that work for me. So like, it's actually it's gratifying as well. I'm like, steal my hooks. But like one of the hooks that really works well is like, nobody knows this. So for you, nobody knows this about traveling. Nobody knows this about taxes. Nobody knows this about income tax. This is the craziest income tax thing ever. Nobody is talking about this. Like stuff like that. And that makes people more likely to share.
interesting. Okay, yeah, I love it.
Maybe you're already doing that. I don't know if you're already doing that.
No, I mean, I have seen a lot of your hooks, I think mostly on TikTok, and they are good. They are really good. And I like how you loop the videos too, so that you don't know where it starts and where it ends. You're tricky.
It's so fun for me to do that. It's really easy. Descript makes it so easy too. I don't know if you have you ever done that yourself?
No.
So on Descript, it's really easy. So like I said, I record the videos either with my laptop camera or like this camera. And then what I'll do is I'll have a script, or maybe I won't even have a script, but I'll like record my video, and then I'll record the opening line again at the end of the video, because I want it to have the same energy that like I used throughout the video. And usually by the end of a script, I have like better energy. So I'll actually record like the first line and then the first couple of lines. And then so like, let's say like nobody knows this about Google. Let's say that's the hook. So at the end of the video, I'll say, yeah, to some people, this is crazy, but lots of other people don't know this, because the thing is, nobody knows this about Google. and then I'll just and then I'll say the first other like the first couple of lines in that to maintain the energy throughout the video, and then I will cut. Nobody knows this about Google, and those first couple of lines, I'll take that from the end of the transcript on Descript and just copy it and paste it, or cut it and paste it to the beginning, and then that's how it loops. So easy to do. I hope to see you
So
do that now
clever.
because it's so
Yeah,
easy to
I
do.
love that. I love that. I actually do all of my editing in CapCut. I really like CapCut. I find Descript is a little bit I haven't edited much short form, to be fair. Most of my content's long form, but I don't know. I just Descript it's a little bit tricky, to be honest. There's like you're cutting things, and then there's the different tracks, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I like CapCut, but I mean, I think you can do that anywhere. Just copy and paste.
I usually only have two tracks. I have my video track and my captions track. Like, so if I record a video on my phone and I don't put in extra images, it's two tracks. It's the video and audio track is one track together. You can mute the audio if you want. And then it's I have captions on all of my videos. Something that I found is like people really like not over edited videos. And so like I literally I downloaded the font that TikTok uses, and I like put in a screenshot from TikTok with what my captions, with the default captions from TikTok, and then I modeled like a caption file within Descript to like use the same font, the same size, the same colors, it's black and white, the same stroke around the letters, all of that. So in Descript, I put my captions, but they look like TikTok captions, like TikTok style captions, because that works everywhere. And but yeah, that's just one track. It's the captions track. And then the video track underneath. So it's two tracks. Like really, for me, it's like really easy. I'll say this though, I've never used CapCut. So maybe you can do everything that I've described in CapCut. But if you can't, give Descript a try, because like it saves me a lot of time, honestly, like so much time. And I'm able to
Yeah,
make pretty good videos without taking a lot of time.
yeah. Your videos are awesome. That's so tricky and sneaky. I love it about the TikTok one. Okay, so we've talked about a lot. Where can people find you?
Oh, Instagram, edward.builds. TikTok, build in public. If you just search build in public, I show up number one. Edward.builds on Instagram, or Edward Sturm. You can Google Edward Sturm and you'll see my bio, my LinkedIn. That'll also have like all my socials. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn too. I just made it so that all of my videos are coming out to my personal LinkedIn. LinkedIn is taking video really seriously. It's prioritizing video in its feed. I'm talking about that a lot now. My podcast, it's called The Edward Show. If you want to hear me go on more long form rants like this, I do this every day, 7 days a week, Sundays too. Even when I'm super tired, I'll will myself into going on a crazy rant, just like I'm doing right now on The Edward Show. That comes out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, The Edward Show. Find me on any of those places. Shoot me a message. Say hello. I'm pretty good at responding to people who DM me, who just like say hello, or like I like your stuff, or like I have a quick question. I respond to these people, and so yeah, feel free to do that.
Cool. Well, it's been so interesting talking to you again today. And I mean, with everything you just said, with plugging all your socials, I have to say, like, your consistency is amazing and very amazing and very inspiring. So thank you for just showing up every day.
Thank you. I honestly, one of the things that I noticed, I'll tell you why I'm so consistent. Do you know who Casey Neistat is? So Casey Neistat kind of invented vlogging. There was vlogging before him, but it wasn't really popular. And what Casey Neistat did is he came from a film background. Before before starting vlogging in I think like 2014 or 2013, Casey was like making videos for HBO, or short films for HBO. So he would like make like really high quality stuff. And then he got funding from Gary Vaynerchuk to do a tech company called Beam, which was a copycat of Snapchat, literally just a copycat of Snapchat. It's a company called Beam. So he gets funding from Gary Vaynerchuk. You know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? Yeah. So he gets funding from Gary Vaynerchuk. It's like 2014. And he's like, okay, he's like, we've built this app for like the last 12 months. How am I going to get users to this app? he goes, well, I'm pretty good at making videos. So what if I do something crazy and I make a vlog, a video blog every day? There was no Descript back then. He had to actually edit his vlogs every day in like Final Cut and put the edits in. And he's living in New York, and he made the most high quality vlogs. He would go out with a drone and get drone footage of New York City to use as B-roll. He would get taxi cabs sped up or the cars moving to use as like background video. He's also a very good storyteller, and he shot his life in New York City. But the thing is, if he just did it for like one or two videos, wouldn't have been very eventful. And he really was like talented. Like he made videos for Nike before this too. Like, but if he just did this for like one video, it'd be like whatever, or two videos, whatever. He did it every single freaking day for 3 years. And even on the days where his vlogs sucked, because he had a newborn. He had a newborn and a wife. He had another kid who he had when he was 18, which he said I think he said in videos, he's like, it was an accident, but he was a great kid. But like he had a newborn and a wife and this new app, and he wants to get publicity for this app, get users for this app. So he does it every day for 3 years, and even days where his videos aren't very good. And there were plenty of them where his vlog would be like 2 minutes, and he would just like show him like skateboarding to the office, doing something in the office, and that would be the vlog, and be like, all right, I'm going home to my family. That's the vlog for today. Even on days like that, I would watch it and just feel inspired at his consistency. Be like, man, this guy shows up every day. This is so hardcore. And this was in 2014 to 2015, like to 2016. And this worked out so well that not only did he make like vlogging very popular, but his app, it got like an okay amount of users. CNN acquired the app only to acquire Casey Neistat's brand, because they wanted to have Casey Neistat's brand. And so part of the deal when CNN acquired the app is that they got Casey Neistat for like a few years. And it made him a lot of money. And he was getting so many views on his daily. He was getting all around New York City. He'd be skateboarding to work. People would go, hey, Casey, oh my God, I watch your videos. And people would wait in front of his office. And so I would see that. And you see how he just like grows month over month. And like, I would look at that and I'd feel inspired. And that's why I do it, because like that stuff that I saw from Casey so long ago inspired me. And I'm like, by showing up every day, even if some days my videos suck, and plenty of days they do, I'm like, I can inspire people. So yeah, I really like consistency, and you get better. You really do. You get better like all the time, really fast.
Well, you've inspired me, and I know you've inspired so many others as well, and hopefully some listeners here as well.
I hope so. I hope to see you kill it. I really do. I hope I like gave useful information.
You definitely did. You definitely did. Thank you for everything that you've shared here, Edward. All of the socials are linked below, so go check out all of Edward's socials. You've just listened to the Work, Wealth, and Travel podcast. If anything from this episode resonated with you, I'd appreciate if you share this podcast on your socials. And of course, be sure to tag us at Work, Wealth, and Travel. And don't forget to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for joining us on this global citizen journey, and we'll see you in the next episode.